Welcome back, my global citizens. Now we got the kids out the way. You know what we need to do. We need to get down to business and have that grown-up talk, that one-on-one about our shit we're doing here in America. My African-American cultural global citizens, directly at y'all. So go on and get your drink, right? Tap in, listen to this part of the podcast, right? We're on the fourth day of Kwanzaa, Ujamaa Cooperative Economics. This one I really want to go in on because this has got to be key for all of us to take into the new year, right? Our mindsets. This is an individual thing that we need to collectively be able to share across the board. I know it's a lot, but work with me. It's 40 million of us. That's going to take self-reflection on a more fundamental level. Work with me here. This is why I love the 7 principles. It's not grounded in any religious background. It forces you individually to think about your part, your responsibility in these collective 7 principles and what part you play in helping execute each of them in your own life and your responsibility to the culture itself. That's what it's about. Cooperative economics, Ujamaa. Again, it urges African American communities, black-owned businesses. So if you own a black-owned business, I'm talking to you. If you do not own a black-owned business, I'm talking to you. Now, I did say in my earlier podcast that I need to remove the word black owned, or I'm sorry, black, and call it African American owned out of the terminology because black is a color, not a culture. It's not descriptive enough for me to define who we are as a people as we have evolved here in America. So I might slip up every now and then, but this is the terminology we're most familiar with until we can migrate to something that we universally across the states agree on. I digress. Urges African American communities to invest in themselves financially on the day of Kwanzaa. I'm sure they meant not only this day, but what time I envision is that we'll have a week every year, right, where we have areas or geographic pockets that will pop up around the country that we will invest in ourselves. Imagine all 40 million of us across wherever we're populated, in California, Louisiana, Alabama, North Carolina, South Carolina, Chicago, wherever a large pocket of concentration. And this is no disrespect to the other states that have populations of African Americans there, but I'm gonna need y'all ass to travel to the bigger places, right? You can go to fucking other countries, travel within our country to a state that's closest to you and participate in this week long of events where you invest in black businesses, you buy things that you need that are necessary for us, right? That's cooperative economics. We haven't gotten to that level yet, but I'm pontificating on what could be. Work with me. It says the day of Kwanzaa by operating and supporting African American establishments. And this is the piece that I really love that I want y'all to dig fucking into. Creating ways to earn profits together. We are really good individually. We love a solo act. But we do not share our money. This is why we haven't progressed as a people. The Asians do it. The colonizers obviously do it because they subjugated us, right? And are now running everything here and across the globe. But other cultures have been able to rally around. Now, we have other great strengths that are amazing, right? So I'm not downplaying us, but financially, if we got that together, we can run the entire gamut. But I digress. Nonetheless, here in America, I think we have a greater opportunity in a first world country if we got our collective or cooperative economic shit together that we can run the fucking table. This would mean that we would need to understand and be financially literate at an earlier age. So work with me here. My idea is that in our educational system, they have an economic class, but why not financial literacy? A class where you can teach your child how to open up a bank account, what a 401k is, about stock, investments, and crypto. Let them learn that early about real estate. Let them learn how to be an entrepreneur first. Let education mean something. Now, granted, I went to college. I got my degree. I actually worked in my field. I'm probably one of a nuance. But I understand the idea that some people say that when you go to college, it's kind of worthless and you don't do what you need in your field after you graduate. Sometimes Sometimes that's true, but what I think that teaches you in college, which is very valuable, is a social aspect of people from a multiplicity of different ethnicities and cultures. You get that at college. Wherever you go, you've created this community which teaches your child how to socialize better. Now, how much that adds to career-wise is skeptical, debatable, but nonetheless, I think it's valuable to do that at that time. What I think we need to get in earlier on to stop being dependent on a 4 or 5 year institution to teach your child who will live 70 or 80 years about entire life financially or career-wise. There needs to be a definitive plan, and it needs to be part of a system that we can push our children through, that they will learn these basic financial skills so that they will at the end be able to develop this cooperative economics that they talk about in Ujamaa. Right? So I think what it's got to be key for each of us, right, is to decide one key thing. You're going to get in the bag on your own, but I think the idea is what happens after that, right? Is your money given out to another culture or race or ethnicity that you can't define, or you can't ever see your dollar help your people? If you're going to spend your money that you've earned, spend your money with your culture. Specifically, if you see your culture suffering, right? Which obviously we are in America. So what I'm asking here is that in our educational system, let's get to them early and teach our children financial literacy. Our investments, right? Create black privilege. Buy from us. But that doesn't give us a pass on the quality of the material that we seek to actually have. So I think it's got to be really dependent on each of us to say, hey, listen, if I'm going to be a business owner, don't cut corners to have cheap product to make money fast, right? Put a good quality product out, and then our people, let's buy from us, right? That way we can not cheat ourselves. You work hard for your shit. You don't want to buy cheap stuff, but look in the back of your tag. Almost all your shit says made in China. How long does it actually last? It looks good for a couple of weeks until you wash it, and then there's nothing after that. So I think we've got to decide very clearly amongst us what we want to do in reference to this cooperative economics. So educationally, teach our kids early about financial literacy. After financial literacy, then we owe it to ourselves then to find out as an adult, what do we do with our investments? Real estate? Do we open up our own grocery stores? Do we open up our own schools? Do we have our own banks, right? Then what does that look like politically, right? Do you then have politicians that represent our collective, right, with a vested interest in mind? This is what I think the idea of Kujichagulia and self-determination talked about is define yourself, name yourself, create opportunities for ourselves, and then be able to have someone speak for us politically. But we need strong, key financial backing that's going to take key financial literacy from each of us. So this is why I really love each day these 7 principles gives us this opportunity to really take a check back, and it's right before the new year. Love it. Thou just talk too much. But because I want to get it in and make sure we understand that those particular principle is going to be key for us to stand firm on our understanding on why each of these principles require us to self-reflect. Cooperative economics is going to be something that is going to be a personal choice for you to where you spend your hard-earned money, right? And social media can be the thing that guides that. Of course, big corporations have more money to advertise on TV and social media about their product that they stole most of their ideas from us. But do your fucking research. Do your own homework. Find those black businesses in your neighborhood and be deliberate about your choice to create privilege for them. This is, again, let me give credit to Dr. Cheyenne Bryan, shout out, about, I watched this on Instagram and she spoke instantly and I understood what she meant about creating black privilege. Purposely, intentionally, when we go out anywhere in the environment. How do you think white privilege was ever created? It was created because they intentionally sought out their culture and gave them opportunities, whether they were qualified or not. The first people, they scream about diversity, equity, and inclusion, right? Lots of the people in the positions of power currently, I'm talking about our colonizer friends, aren't qualified. But of course, we have to be 10 times as better in order for us to be equitable in any kind of sense of the word, in their minds. But if we created our own cooperative economics within the system and allowed us to have our play here, it would change the entire financial narrative. But no one's going to do it for us. That's why I'm speaking directly to you, my African American global citizens, right, of our Pacific culture here. If you live in America, watch my other podcasts, go back and check out why I'm saying us as a collective. We need to speak as one voice. Now, stop being so in your fucking feelings about defining yourself. You can still do that and belong to a collective. We can multitask where there's a way to have some simultaneity here. You got to decide and stop using that as an excuse for you to not to make moves in the future. That old shit is behind us. Wake up and stand firm, okay? So, my global citizens, I love y'all. But y'all got to stay clear. You got to stay focused. Stay clear of the international social media bullshit that has driven you to a point where you can focus on how to stay grounded in the principles that help you move your life forward, right? So this is why I'm giving you this extra background while my son was gone. Had a chance to put, light the candles for us this is all great principle wise, right? But this is where the real talk takes place. Is why I had this eye colorism unfiltered to give you that clear talk face to camera about what we need to do to move forward. All right. So thank you guys. I love y'all. Stay tuned for tomorrow, the very next principle. But today, let's self-reflect on Ujamaa Cooperative Economics. I love y'all. Like, follow, comment. Peace.